Chang, if we can deliver to Major League Baseball its first Indian ball player, that's 1 billion new fans. What do 1 billion new fans need? 1 billion hats, 1 billion t-shirts.
And you want to set this up like it's a talent contest.
Exactly. That will ensure maximum exposure of talent to press. See, once we go over there and find these guys, we bring them back here, we train them in LA, then we get them signed with a professional franchise.
What's your timeline?
2 years.
Can you do it in 1?
Sure.
Okay, first I have to know, it's a baseball movie.
Yes.
Who's your favorite team?
Oh, I can't imagine it. It might just be written all over your shirt. St. Louis Cardinals, y'all.
I had to.
Yeah, it's it's you're from St. Louis. You have a baseball bracelet on. It's what we do, and we do it real well. We're having a little shaky start this year, but we'll right the ship.
We're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So tell me what drew you to this movie, because it's so inspirational. It's so wonderful. But what was it specifically for you?
Honestly, I read the script and I had not heard of the story of the $1 Million Arm contest or the story or Rinku and Dinesh. It's for whatever reason it went under my radar.
Yeah.
And I immediately started looking up online like all of this stuff about it, and I was like, I can't believe this is actually true. If this is actually true, this is amazing. And it was. And and it is amazing. I mean, it's you kind of forget because it's a movie and you're watching a movie, and then all of a sudden you realize at the end you're like, oh God, these guys really did that.
Yeah.
And they're such good guys, and I got a chance to meet both of them, and you probably got a chance to see Rinku as well. And JB is such a hard worker and such a diligent, determined guy, and he kind of willed this thing into existence. So it was an exciting opportunity to get to play, someone who's a little, at the core, a little bit better than most, and because I play a guy the most part who's not so much. So it's that part was why I wanted to do it, and obviously baseball being close to my heart was secondary, but mostly it was that I found the story incredibly inspiring.
I was gonna ask, is it different to play? This is based on a true story. Is it different to play someone who you can go and meet and hang out with?
Yeah. Oh,
no
very
pressure,
different. Yeah, yeah, no pressure. No, it's very different, and it's great. JB was around in India. He was around Atlanta, where we shot the majority of the film, and because it's you can see how the guy operates, and you can see how the guy thinks and talks and works and listens, and it's nice to be able to say like, God, what happened when, were you just devastated when all this stuff like happened? He's like, oh yeah, I was like suicidal, like it was miserable. Right. But you also know that this experience, and he'll say it himself, like this experience like changed his life for the better, profoundly. And he did not think that going in. That was not what he set out to do. He set out to make some money.
Just money.
And it turned out that it changed his life, which is a nice message, honestly.
Which is great. I think that's why it's such an amazing film. It's because of, JB's character arc and then the boys, and it's just so inspirational on so many levels.
Yeah.
Tell me about shooting in India. Was that crazy?
Crazy. I'd never been to Asia, much less India, and it was my first time on the continent, so to speak, and it was, you fly into Mumbai, and it's like, wham, it is full-on, full-tilt boogie for, as soon as you get off the airplane until you get to the hotel. It is like crazy. And I had no kind of perspective to put it in. I had no idea. I had nothing to measure it against.
That makes it kind of fun.
Totally. And because of that, it takes a little getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's like, it's fascinating because everything is different. Right. And it's a wonderful country with like so many different sides to it, and so many moving parts that you think there's no way how does this work? How does this work? And it does. And so I had a wonderful time. I would definitely go back.
Okay, so last question. JB kind of reminds me a little bit about another character that you play, kind of good guy, bad guy, all mixed up. Mr. Draper, do we have any sneak peeks for the...
Well, the show airs
Sunday, right?
Tomorrow night, Sunday night, and it's the beginning of the end, as we've been coming coming to call it. But yeah, we left Don in not the greatest place, but with a glimmer of hope. So hopefully, you know, the last image of Don and Sally kind of sharing a moment will resonate into our final chapter.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.